Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land, I'm the Moorish Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Moorish Empire, traveler on the land, bitch snitch, Moorish Empire, God dang, you're right, traveler on the land, bitch snitch, the late evening U.S. people.
What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God! No!
Okay, welcome to the first live stream for Legal Vices. We're going to start out our very first live stream with a review of the Alec Baldwin police interrogation video. It was just released. I haven't seen it yet in its entirety. I haven't reacted to it. I just saw the first little bit and thought this is something that needs to be commented on. While we're doing that, we'll be getting into one of my legal vices. We've got the 109 proof, 54.5% Willet Straight Rye Whiskey. This is going to be good. Okay, let's cut the crap, people. What you just witnessed was the very first live stream I ever did. That was the beginning of the Legal Vices live stream. That was the first live stream I ever did, was reviewing the video that we're going to review again tonight. So over 2 hours later, two hours, over 2 years later, only seems like 2 hours. Time goes by so fast when you're having fun. But yeah, that was over 2 years ago, and it was already a year and a half after the incident. So this is crazy. This has been such a long time. It's been a long time coming. So there we are. Oh no, I don't. Tonight is no whiskey. Tonight is a lovely bottle of water. But that Willet Family Reserve rye, that is really, really good rye. No, that's how it all started. That video right there. I was going to wear the same hat and the same shirt, but I got home too late to do that. I was at a dinner appointment. So that's why we were starting an hour later tonight. Maybe the same thing going to happen tomorrow night too. But anyway, That was 2 years ago. That's how we started. We started with the Alec Baldwin trial, with the Alec Baldwin interrogation video. And tomorrow, the trial finally gets underway. We've got jury selection going on today. And they don't expect any problems getting through jury selection, getting it completed and finished all in one day. So they're expected 9 a.m. Mountain Time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern, to start the trial of Alec Baldwin for involuntary manslaughter with regard to the shooting death of Halyna Hutchins. Let's take care of the housekeeping stuff here real quick and then jump into the video here. The first housekeeping thing, as always, we currently have 358 people and 118 likes. That means 230 some odd of you have not done your job. Get down there, do the YouTubey things, get after it. Come on, hit the like button if you haven't subscribed. Please do, because we're 25 subscribers away from 77,600, I think. I don't know. Yes, we're now 24 away from 77,600, working our way towards that 78,000 mark. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you are subscribed. Double check to make sure you still are, and then and only then take the like and subscribe poll. Some of you, 60 of you have already cheated. There's 216 votes on the like and subscribe poll, but there's only 156 likes. Come on, people. If you cheated, get down there and hit that like button. All right, today's like and subscribe poll, starting out the Alec Baldwin trials. This is your opinion, not what the jury's going to do. This is your opinion. Alec Baldwin should be found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, not guilty, or I'm just wishy-washy and I have no opinion about anything. That's where we are. Currently, 70% of you say he should be guilty of involuntary manslaughter, 8% not guilty, and 22% of you are wishy-washy fence sitters. Well, here's what's going to be happening moving forward with the Alec Baldwin trial. Everybody and their pet furry chinchilla is going to be streaming this trial. There's going to be a bajillion and one places you can go to watch the Alec Baldwin trial coverage. There's going to be a ton of people doing a solo. There's going to be a couple of people pairing up together to do it. There's a group of law tubers that are going to be somehow doing this magical mystery stream together thing. I'm going solo, I guess. And you have all of these options available to you. And I'm just inviting you, as always, to exercise. You have two options. One, be here with me for the single-handed best coverage of any trial you will ever see anywhere on YouTube, right here on Legal Vices, or you can go to the second best. That's just, whatever you decide the second best is, we'll let you decide that. But I'm inviting all of you here to come back tomorrow and enjoy the trial with me. And we will be doing this the way we normally do to give people some extra time if they want to start the trial early. We'll start off with the morning session tomorrow. I will end at the lunch break. And then on Thursday, I will watch the afternoon session at 1.25 speed, skipping all the sidebars and the breaks and things. And then we will catch up to the morning, to Thursday morning, and then we'll end it at the lunch break again. And that's how we'll go through the trial. So we'll sort of start out half a day behind and then end at the lunch break all caught up. So that's what we're going to be doing. And you are all invited here. And I expect to see all of you here. And I appreciate your views. I don't take any of you for granted. With all that little back patting and hair rustling, mussing up and stuff, it's time to jump in. Matilda starting the day with a €2 super chat. Hello from the Netherlands. Well, hello Netherlands. How are you, Matilda? Good to see you here, and thank you for kicking off the first super chat of the day. We've got a hyperventilating strawberry here sitting next to me. It's hot in the house. Got the fan going here. We are set. Alec Baldwin is in trouble. He is facing these charges of involuntary manslaughter. And I think he very likely sunk his case before he even had a case. And what I'm talking about is this initial police interrogation video. I think it may be over for him that day. He did himself zero favors with that, with the police interrogation, any of the follow-up interrogations, and all of the numerous interviews he's given since then. So let's start watching this, and we're going to be going to a wonderful, wonderful channel, one of the best police interrogation channels, if not the single best police interrogation channel you're going to see anywhere on YouTube. It's Crime Circus. Crime Circus, Drip Drop over at Crime Circus has this amazing cache of footage from all the every case that's ever been. He's got all the interrogation footage. I'm waiting for him to get the Taylor business stuff up. That'll be a hoot. So let's go on over to here. This is all from Drip Drop's channel, Crime Circus. If you're not familiar with Crime Circus, I suggest you go on over there and give him a check out, give him a shout out, and give him a subscribe. He completely deserves it for all the work he gets into enhancing audio, cutting out 8 hours of people sitting in chairs staring at each other in silence. He puts together a really good package, and that's what we're going to be watching here right now. Let's go. We'll stop and make comments and questions. This is an analysis video, so we're not going to watch it just straight through. Let's go.
New footage released of the Rust movie set. You remember the movie set where Alec Baldwin discharged a weapon and ended up killing his own cinematographer.
Either of those chairs, I thought he was coming with you, so yes, not. I'm Alex, I'm one of the detectives on the case, and can we get you coffee or anything? What did you get? Okay, I'll be in here in just a minute, okay?
All right, we'll bring up the closed captions for this. Now, these are the same interrogator, the same detectives, the same, I guess they're sheriff's office people. They're the same sheriff's office people that questioned Hannah Gutierrez Reed. And I'll say the same thing about them that I said then and say it now. They are very, very good at what they do. They're just, we're just the happy, bubbly little girl sheriffs doing our thing. But they work him over pretty good, and he doesn't realize that he's been worked over good by these two sheriff's deputies. They ask the right questions. They let him, and I'm just going off memory because the last time I saw this was the first video I ever did. But they lead him down the path the same way they just sat back and let her talk. Now, what do we see wrong with this picture? I can't remember. It says, I love Drip Drop. He investigates, deep dives cases, Crime Circus. Hell yeah. Is there a dono goal for a Jeff cam now? No, there's no dono goal for a Jeff cam. Do I need a Jeff cam? What do we see wrong with this picture? There you go. Some of you are just learning, aren't you? No lawyer, no Jeff. He has his phone. No, you can have his phone, and they're gonna let him have his phone for good reasons. No lawyer. Exactly. Y'all got it. Those of you that say no lawyer, you are correct. There is no lawyer sitting there with him in this picture. The police are not your friends. They say, we're just trying to help, but they ain't trying to help you. If you ever get called into the police station to give a statement or to answer questions, what do? You shut the fuck up and you lawyer up. Those are the two things you do. I would even say go so far as to let your lawyer answer any questions the police have. That way you don't say it. So anywho, no lawyer. He's going to handle this all by his big ol' acting self. Now, they've left the room. This is also standard police tactic. This is standard interrogation tactic. You put him in the room without his lawyer, of course. And you say, oh, would you like some coffee or something? We'll be right back. And the coffee machine is like 2 inches outside the door. All they're doing is they're going to whatever room has the monitor for this camera, and they're watching what he does. They're watching what he does with his phone, watching where he calls, watching who he calls, watching how he acts, watching how he fidgets, looking at what he's looking at. They are checking him out and scoping him out and making note of everything he says and does. Standard interrogation tactic.
Hey.
I'm at the police station. Sheriff.
And this was actually, if I recall correctly, the second call. He couldn't connect the first time, but I think it would have been funny if old Hilaria would have answered the phone. Hola, that would have been kind of funnier. If you know, you know. But so he's there alone in the room, and he calls his missus.
And they're about to interview me. How is everyone at home? How are the kids?
The kids are great.
Did you hold on a second, please? Did you tell Carmen what's going on?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Are you convinced you don't want to come tomorrow?
I mean, I don't think it's a good idea. Look, call me after you talk with the sheriff, but like, I don't think it's a great idea. I think this is,
Yeah, but let me say this too, just to be clear. They're going to make me stay here tomorrow anyway to talk to my insurance investigators. This is really, I'll talk to you more, but I'm just saying.
I'm so sorry. You must be so traumatized.
No, what I am is someone who, I don't want to do this for a living anymore. I don't want to be a public person.
Well, sorry, Mr. Baldwin, you are a public person. So the first thing he does is call, and he has, mind you, this just a very, very short time ago, like a couple of hours ago, he shot a woman. He sent a bullet through a woman's midsection and into the dude standing behind her. And he's like, are you sure you don't want to come over here and get involved in all this, honey? Well, I got to stay here anyway because I got to talk to insurance adjusters and I got to talk to these people. He absolutely, utterly unconcerned for what's going on around him. Andrew Valentine, at this point, he does not know she's dead. So he thinks she's still alive. In the middle of this interview, he finds out she's dead. So at this point, he thinks he's just wounded her. He thinks he's wounded her and wounded the guy standing behind her. He'll find out here a little bit later that, in fact, she didn't make it.
And, I'm the one holding the gun in my hand that everybody was supposed to have taken care of. They always hand me a cold gun. Where are you now?
This kind of contradicts what he said. He said that he was told it was a cold gun. And here he says, they've always taken care of this. And they're always, they always hand me a cold gun. He didn't say they told him it was a cold gun until later. But anyway.
Michelle, who? And where are you? Okay, right. I'll call you back when I'm done, okay?
Hi, Alex.
Hey, where are the kids?
You're sleeping.
The boys are
I'm
sleeping?
just yeah.
So he's cut out the all the dead spots where he's just sitting there staring. It's taking these cops a suspiciously long time to get him a cup of coffee, isn't it? They've got the coffee. They're just watching. They're going, let's see who he calls. Let's see what he says.
Does he tell you what's going on? I'm trying to get into her to come.
Oh,
I think we should come. They just spend the time here, and they're going to do what they got to do with, and deal with what they got to do with, and we shouldn't let them. We'll go. I won't work, and we'll go enjoy ourselves. It's all paid for.
I won't work, and we'll all go enjoy ourselves. It's all paid for. I'm sorry, Alec Baldwin is a flaming piece of shit for a human being. to the best of his knowledge, he was just Swiss cheesed a woman and poked a hole in another dude. And he's like, all right, hey, we should just do this anyway. We've already got our vacation paid for. I'm just going to take some time off work after shooting this woman. And let's just go enjoy ourselves. It's already paid for.
And they're not going to give us the money back.
And we should be staying away from the vultures here.
Are they outside?
No, but I imagine they will be at some point. They're
I
going
think
to
it's a
find
great
out.
idea. It's a great idea. You should come for that reason also.
You come here and hang out with me to get away from the vultures, and then let's go enjoy our vacation. What a piece of shit he is. That's an insult to flaming shit. I mean, guilty or innocent, whatever you think, the guy is still just a horrible human being. And why am I not in this picture? Why haven't I been on camera? All right. Let's make things right here. Why haven't I been on camera for the last, I don't know, 20 freaking minutes or whatever? All right. I was just having fun watching this with you. I wasn't even paying attention to the camera. At least you could hear me and it wasn't dead air. That would have been even funnier, huh? All right. I know. Well, now do we need money for Jeff Cam? Now it makes sense. It didn't make any sense back when you were saying it. It didn't make sense when you were saying it. Yes, I know you said Jeff Cam, but I was thinking Doggo Cam, Anyway, see, now X-Comer, is there a Dono Gull for a Jeff Cam now? See, now that makes sense. Thank you, X-Comer. And Irish, I was drunk. Something wrong? No pint of Guinness. Hi, all. Hey, Irish, I was drunk. How you doing? And then been there, done that for Jeff Cam. Now that makes sense. It all makes sense now. And Daryl Smith, member for 3 months. Baldwin played a lawyer in a movie once. I'm sure he can represent himself. Yeah. Hi, guys. It's me. It's me, Legal Vices. How you doing? Oh, crud. My face hurts from laughing. I'm so stupid sometimes. Here we go. Back at it. As I was saying, the cops are taking a suspiciously long time to get that cup of coffee he wanted. Yeah, yes, you'll have to forgive me. This is my first live stream.
All right, I'll call Carmen on her iPad, okay?
Okay, yeah, she's on her phone. I'm very sorry, Ashley.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea how unbelievable this is and how strange this is. And I'll explain to you later.
Sorry, you're in this position.
No, it's just.
I hope everyone's okay and that you're okay.
I'll call you back. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is the classic riverboat gambler hat from Miller Hats in Texas. Hey, what's up, Oz?
Hi, Samantha.
Oh yeah, did you want a cup of hot coffee? Sorry, we'll just get a bottle of water for us.
So, why you're here. For this incident that was unfortunate earlier. Yeah. Yeah, I know you already agreed to talk to us and everything, and that's great. We're just gonna go over the rights. She's gonna read these to you. As you understand them and just sign an initial, and then if you read the bottom and agree to talk to us, it's fine. As you understand them, yes.
Yeah, so first one, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used.
He, as people were mentioning here, he's played a lawyer in movies. He's been in a lot of cop shows. He's allegedly a smart, intelligent man. This mother effer is right now being read his rights. If the police are reading you your rights, you're not just somebody they're talking to get a little additional information as to what happened. You're not a witness. You are now a suspect. He doesn't realize this.
And listen to how casual I want to go back and listen to this. Listen to how casually these sheriff's deputies here, we'll just call them cops. Just easier than calling them sheriff's deputies and whatnot. Listen to how easily these cops just say, just sign here to waive your basic frickin' constitutional rights against self-incrimination. Just sign here. It's just a formality. It's just, sign here, say you got all this. It's not important. Just sign down there and do this stuff, saying you understand it all. Nah, they don't make a big deal out of it. They just like, this is just some paperwork we got to get out of the way before we just have you clarify the situation. When they read you your rights, it's time to shut the fuck up. It's time to STF you long before that. But if you haven't, now really is the time to do it. And to also realize you are not a witness. You are not there to give them information. You are officially a suspect.
Talk to us and everything, and that's great.
Yeah, we just got to fill these documents and everything. Just sign. Listen to how beautifully they do this. This is grade A cop work here.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you already agreed to talk to us and everything, and that's great. We're just gonna go over the rights. She's gonna read these to you as you understand them, and just sign an initial, and then if you read the bottom and agree to talk to us, it's fine. As you understand them, yes. Yeah, so first one, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court or other proceedings. You have the right to consult with an attorney before making any statement or answering any questions, and you may have him or her present with you during questioning. You may have an attorney appointed to you to represent you if you cannot afford one or otherwise obtain one. If you decide to answer any questions now with or without a lawyer, you have the right to stop questioning at any time or to stop questioning for the purpose of consulting a lawyer.
So my only question is, am I being charged with something?
No, we're just...
Not yet. My only question is, am I being charged with something? Not yet, but by the time you get done with this interview, they're well on their way to charging your ass. See, she's not lying. You're not being charged right now. And the fact that this is lost on this genius. I got to tell you, and I said it during the Hannah Gutierrez trial, I love these two ladies. They're just good at this. They are top notch at the Jedi mind trick here. They just Jedi mind tricked him into signing away his rights to remain silent. And then without skipping a beat, they Jedi mind trick him into thinking he ain't going to get charged for Swiss cheesing a woman. Chat, you're funny. That was his gut telling him to stop. Yeah, well, he wasn't listening to that. He was listening to his ego.
Yeah.
I don't, that's fine. Yep. I'm not worried because I'm not, yeah.
We have to do our job at,
yeah, no, just tell me that
at advising you your rights because
this
is the investigation.
Yeah.
Just a formality.
It's just a formality to sign away your right to remain silent. It's just a mere formality, Mr. Baldwin, to sign away your constitutional right to remain silent and to not incriminate yourself. And you'll dare, okay, let me sign right here.
Have to do it. You're here. I appreciate it.
What is today?
It is the 21st of October. Long day.
Oh, have you had a bad
well, what's
day,
interesting, not to digress on some commentary here, is that we've done this for 2 weeks and we did it the right way every day. Every day.
Here he is answering questions that he was never asked. They don't even have to ask his dumbass questions. He's just going to tell them. He's going to tell them what they want to know.
You're on a set. You rehearse, they bring you what's called a cold gun. The gun is either completely empty, the chambers, or there is a cosmetic piece. So, for example, if you're the camera, and this is going to sound silly and specific, but if I'm pointing a gun close to the camera, you want to see into the cylinder that there's material in there, cosmetic material. So those rounds or cosmetic rounds. They put them in, and you rehearse, or even in a shot when you don't fire. I pull the gun up, and you see there's some material inside the cylinder. They'd hand me a cold gun, no charges. They always.
Yeah, there was material in the cylinder. It was called a live fucking round, dude. Bad Weather Biker with the $5, dropping the $5 super chat. Q, potentially criminal Sean, don't talk to the police. The police are not your friend. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. They'll tell you they are. They're not. They'll tell you they're just trying to help you. They ain't trying to help you.
Hand you a cold gun with nothing in it to rehearse. And then when you shoot, if you are shooting loads that are flash loads, and they're usually in 3 denominations, quarter, half, or full load rounds, so that the flash is bright, and the sound is loud, louder, loudest. Full load is loudest. So if you're outside, you want a full load bang, you want a loud sound. If you're inside, you can do a quarter load. Right before you shoot, everyone preps, crew puts the earplugs in, so put headphones on. The camera's there, very often there's a loose tight screen, but you're the camera operator, and there's the camera, so I should always shoot off camera. You never shoot into the lens. And you
well, you kind of did shoot towards the lens a little bit, didn't you? You never shoot towards the bang.
Shoot, and there's a flash and a sound. Now, I went to lunch. She disarmed me. I sat down.
She being
Hannah, the armaments person. When she was always handling the guns, 99% of the time. So I would, if I had a cosmetic rifle with no rounds, I hand it to one of her assistants. I'm sitting there. She disarms me. We go to lunch. We come.
And again, note, he has not been asked a single damn question at this point. They did ask him one question. Would you like some coffee? They have not asked a single question about the incident. And he's just off and running. He's off to the races all by his little old self. He couldn't sign his goddamn rights away fast enough.
Back from lunch, and they hand me the revolver, the Colt.
And I just like the name. It's Hannah again.
They arm me, and you're assuming, as we've done every time, that it's a cold gun for the.
They armed me, and we're assuming, like we do every time, that it's a cold gun for the rehearsal. We are assuming. Hey, to be Flair, how you doing? Good to see you here. We're not checking. We're not checking. We're not investigating. We're not looking. We're not asking. We're just assuming it's unloaded because it's always unloaded. And that is exactly how accidents happen. That's why you have safety protocols. That's why you follow a regimen, so that you don't assume shit is the same as it's been the entire time. And again, up to this point, he hasn't said that I was told it was a cold gun. He just assumed it was because it's always a cold gun.
And I put the gag in the shot. You're the camera because I have a coat and I have a holster, and I pull the coat over, and I kind of cup my hands like I folded my hands. And then I'm going to slowly sneak the revolver, the Colt out, and turn and shoot these other guys, or try to shoot.
You tried to, and you did.
I take the coat over the thing. I do the camera's there. I believe, my recollection is she was there, turned a bit, like talking to him. So I think she was hitting the right armpit. But this is all I know, and that is that I take the gun out in the rehearsal. Really, he wants it very dramatic and very slow. I'm trying to sneak up on it. I take the gun out, and as I take it, like as it clears, as the barrel clears, I turn and cock the gun over here. I turn and cock the gun goes off. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be a cold gun. Yeah,
it's supposed to be a cold gun, but guess what, Baldwin? It wasn't. And you are the very last person on earth that could have prevented this from happening. You are the person, the only person out of all the characters, out of all the actors, out of every single human being on planet Earth, you are the one that pointed a gun in the direction of a woman and shot her. That is the textbook definition of involuntary manslaughter. I don't know how he expects to get off this. And I'll just say right now, for those of you that watch the Karen Reed trial, if for some reason there's a hung jury in this case, or if he walks, I will be more upset than I was with the Karen Reed thing. I'm just gonna say that right now. But all right, as we go along here, there's 5 things we have to remember. And those are the 5 basic rules of firearm safety. There's only 5, and they're redundant. Of these 5 rules, you break one rule and nobody's going to get hurt. You break 2 of the rules and still nobody's probably going to get hurt. You sort of kind of have to violate all 5 of these rules for anyone to be hurt with a firearm. The 5 basic rules of firearm safety are: 1, treat every gun as if it were loaded. Don't assume it's empty. Don't assume it's a cold gun. Don't assume anything. Assume the only thing that should be assumed is that it is loaded. Treat every gun as if it were loaded. 2, always point your gun in a safe direction. So he's violated 1. He didn't treat the gun as if it was loaded. 2, he violated that. He definitely did not point his gun in a safe direction. Pointing it at 2 people, at least, forget however many people he flagged as he was sweeping his arm across to point it at the camera, and he at least pointed it in a very unsafe direction at 2 people. 3, never point your gun at anything you don't intend to shoot. Don't point them at people unless you really intend to kill them. Violated that one. Rule 4, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. He says he didn't have his finger on the trigger. We all know that is a flaming load of horse shit. Go look at the thumbnail for this video. The thumbnail, the picture that was what they're using for the camera test. It wasn't from the actual shooting. It was from earlier in the day. His finger is all over the goddamn trigger, and it would be all over the trigger this time. And again, the FBI ran so many tests on the gun to try to get it to go off in any other way than pulling the trigger that they sort of kind of damaged the gun, because they couldn't get it to do what he magically claimed it could do. His finger was on the trigger. No question in my mind. 5, be sure of your target and what's beyond. He broke that rule as well. He broke all 5 of the rules, and that's when people get hurt. So he's just in the first few minutes of this video, he has literally admitted to breaking all of the 5 basic rules of gun safety. All right, let's get back to him explaining how it's not his fault, even though he hasn't been asked if it was his fault.
Nothing. No flash charges, nothing. Now, this is a puzzle to me. This is making me very emotional now. You know,
Oh yeah, you seem emotional.
in my time, and I'm older now, but when I was younger and I was shooting guns and stuff, I've never seen a theatrical flash round where the material went through someone's armpit, came out their body, and hit somebody else on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if your department is prepared to go find out what comes out of his shoulder surgically. Is that a live round?
That's what we are actually looking
Is that a
at.
live?
They're like, yeah, we're actually doing it right now. We'll be right back on that one. Stay tuned, Alec Baldwin, because we're going to tell you exactly what came out of his
I
shoulder.
don't just make any sense otherwise.
Yeah.
It's her in the armpit, comes out her shoulder, goes into his shoulder, and he just told me on the phone. I talked to Joe. He said, they showed me the x-ray, and the shape of the thing in my shoulder is the shape of a bullet. Now, all the rounds, I was told, you need to verify, I think this is important, they take the gun, they enter.
Alec, yeah, you're telling the police they need to verify what the rounds were. And you should have verified what rounds were in the gun before you, you shouldn't have been in there during rehearsal, but before you even pointed that gun at someone, you should have verified what was in there. That was your final job. That was your final responsibility. You were the person that could have stopped this. You were the last line of defense between Halyna Hutchins being alive and her being dead.
And all the rounds that are in there were either dummy rounds, no flash, cold rounds, or rounds with a flash. In the rehearsal, there should have been nothing. It should have been a cold gun.
But there was, and you didn't even have to look down the barrel like an idiot. You could just look at the side, and you could see if there was something in the cylinders or not, dude. Oh my Lord! I didn't expect myself to get this pissed off at this again. But the more I think about this, the angrier I get over the past 2 years.
Done with no rounds inside or dummy rounds, cosmetic rounds. No flash. I take the gun out slowly. I turn, I cock the pistol. Bang! It goes up. She hits the ground. She goes down. He goes down, screaming. He said, "Jesus Christ!" And I'm going. And I thought that maybe sometimes the wadding can come out if you're closer to get a burn. 2 actors who killed themselves with guns, with theatrical guns, John Eric Hexon and Brandon Lee. They put the live round in, and I'm told even with the flash powder, you can cause contusions and you can do a brain bleed and die, which both of them died.
Right.
I think with Brandon Lee, there was a piece of material lodged in the thing that shot from the floor, something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember vividly, but my point is, I've been doing this. I shot enough guns in my day in movies. I've never seen this before.
People in chat, Vice Squad. I'm talking to you here. Don't be an Alec Baldwin. Don't do what Alec does. We're now 10 minutes into this interview, and he still has not been asked a single question by the police. Without being asked a single question by the police, he's already voluntarily, without being asked, that he didn't check the gun. He didn't know whether or not it was loaded. He pulled it out of his holster. He pointed it at 2 human beings. He cocked the weapon, and the weapon was discharged. He literally just admitted to shooting 2 people in front of the cops, and they didn't even ask him if he shot 2 people. They haven't even asked his name. They haven't even said what happened that day or where were you. They haven't asked a single question, and he's admitted to not checking his weapon, pointing it at a woman, pulling the trigger, and cocking the weapon and shooting someone. Don't be like Alec Baldwin. This is bad.
Flash round. Because from my understanding is, can I borrow your pen for a minute?
Of course, you could even borrow me.
My understanding.
Here, let me diagram it for you. He's asking them questions now. May I have a pen? May I draw you some pictures here? Oh my Lord. This is why I said that I believe at this point, the 9:42 mark, let's take off, 5 minutes to 6 minutes for the intro, him talking on the phone. So we'll say in 3 or 4 minutes of this interview, I think he has already talked himself into a conviction. I think he's already lost his case long before he was charged. Without being asked a single question, I think he's just proven himself guilty.
Yes. That in a bullet, here's the thing with the pin. and here's the bullet itself. And now here, when you have a cosmetic round, no flash, no nothing, they drill a hole in the side of the brass.
And again, I apologize for stopping this again, but here he is explaining how to tell the difference between a live round, a dummy round, and a blank round. He is sharing his expertise with these type of rounds. He's sharing his vast cinema. I got half bottle of wine in me with his cinematographic. There we go. Background. He's sharing his wealth of knowledge on the subject. And again, for those of you that don't know, currently we've got 725 people here. So some of you may not know this. His father was a high school shooting coach. His father was a high school shooting coach, and his father was such a long-term immersive shooting coach that quite literally Alec Baldwin's father died of lead poisoning from shooting and handling so many rounds and breathing all of the particles and stuff. That's how much Alec has been around weapons. His father died of lead poisoning from handling and breathing around bullets. And he's got all this cinematic history. He's explaining his area of expertise. He's explaining how to tell the difference between dummy rounds, blank rounds, and live rounds. Well, let's see what he says later about his expertise.
To signify that it's a cosmetic round. There's nothing in there. There's no powder. But when you have a flash round, and there's stuff in there, wadding and powder to make the charge. This material here, that is the bullet, is made of a clay or some material that just disintegrates. So what you have is bang, and you see the flash go bang, and you get a sound, but nothing. There's no projectile. And what I'm curious about is what came out of that bullet that went through her body and into his shoulder.
That's pretty powerful.
I've never heard of it. Now, some people say you can lodge material in the barrel accidentally, a rock, something that happens, which is why every time we've done this, I'm here to tell you, to testify that every time we've done this, she's done it right. She cleaned the barrel, made sure nothing was lodged in there. We went hot when they were ready. You always announce, going hot. Crew gets ready. And then all of a sudden, you're the camera, and I shoot away from you. I sit there like, bang, 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 and flashes are coming out. We shoot the rounds.
All right, this is a station break here. We've got a couple super chats, but I want to give someone a chance to answer here. Carol Sanders says, this is so funny, so much misinformation, complete fallacy. What is the misinformation and what is the fallacy? I'm game. Share with me the misinformation and the complete fallacy. I'm curious. And please use all caps so I can see it here in chat while I read the other super chats. Damocles of Syracuse, keep your booger hook off the bang switch. Exactly. Thank you so much, Damocles. And Joe Pottinger, I assume that the defense won't be allowed to subpoena Hannah G as a witness, Patsy. They may very well call her as a witness. But, she has credibility problems right now. Chris Rowland, member for 5 months. At the end of the day, no matter what SAG says about actors not being responsible, Alec Baldwin was the last person holding the weapon. He's responsible. Correct. Can't argue with that. You're straight up spitting facts there. Anna Pekarsky, with a $5 super sticker. Bravo. It's a little Sheena Ibu Bravo. Duncan, Idaho with the $5. Thank you so much, brother. They've got a whole army of people outside the door. They're waiting with extra pens, papers, legal pads, crayons. The man needs to get it to him. Exactly. Whatever the man needs, get it to him. Exactly. Elsie Mara says there's already been indications she won't testify on the stand. Squizgar says, while I agree he was negligent, the gun rules are not absolute. If they were, you could never carry or work on guns. You will have to break them from time to time in various situations. That's why they're redundant. That's why you can quite literally violate you can violate 4 of the 5 rules of gun safety, and you're still not going to hurt anybody. You literally have to break all 5 of them. Well, apparently we're never going to get to the mystery of what is a complete and utter fallacy. All right. She had her chance, Carol, you had, there we are, Carol Sanders. A single action triggers can stick or be obstructed. Cowboy loaded rounds can mimic dummy rounds and might not have been detectable. Absolutely incorrect. This gun completely does not do that. If the way this gun is set up, if you pull it back less than a quarter of a cock, it doesn't have the force to set off the rounds. If you pull it back more than a quarter of a cock, there's a safety bar and there's a safety latch that it gets caught on. And the only way you will release it is if you pull the trigger. And the same with half cock and full cock. If it goes past half cock and you just let go of the hammer, it will go back to the half cock position. If you pull it all the way back, again, you have to pull the trigger. And cowboy loaded rounds can mimic dummy rounds. The hell is a cowboy loaded round? There are live rounds, there are dummy rounds, and there are blank rounds. Live rounds are completely different. Dummy rounds will either have a hole drilled in the side of them, or they will have a few BBs that rattle around inside of them. And normally the primers are removed or already indented. A blank round will not have a projectile on the top. You can take a blind person. You can take a blind person into a room in the dark, a blind person in the dark who was wearing a blindfold. And they can easily tell the difference between the various types of weapons. Ian Runkle did an experiment with a friend of his who had never held bullets in her life. Gave her a quick, brief lesson, and she was able to sort the bullets very, very easily. That's why they're done that way. And they couldn't replicate that with the weapon, says Matt Thor. Yeah, that's what we just talked about. The cowboy loaded is when you launch your gun on horseback. Yeah, literally the FBI did what they said he did, and they couldn't get it to fire. They tried banging it with mallets. They tried pounding it on things. They tried everything they could, and it would not discharge the way he said it to. It absolutely functioned absolutely perfect and correctly. The only way that would discharge was with his finger on the trigger, which is what he had on there. He was totally fanning it, or he had his trigger pulled and he pulled it back with his thumb, or we don't know, but his finger was on the trigger. There is no question about that. All right, enough of that. Debunked. Let's go.
She cleans the barrel every time, and she checks that the rounds are all cosmetic rounds, or nothing in the chamber for the rehearsal. She hands me the gun. I'm assuming she's done it the right way. She's done it the last 2 weeks. I put it in the holster. I pull it out slow. We're rehearsing. We're not filming anything. I pull it out slow, turn, cock the pistol, bang, it goes up, and she hits the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts screaming. And I'm thinking, in a flash round, I could see maybe if there was wadding or there's some stuff like that that's hot, and maybe it hits you and burns you. And as they say, sometimes that happens. But remember, we're rehearsing, so no one's protected.
It's all supposed to be this one, cosmetic one.
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
For the rehearsal, the gun is normally empty.
Mm.
But my point is that they were standing in positions they wouldn't ordinarily be in because they assumed it was an empty, cold gun. We weren't shooting, we were rehearsing. That's a vital difference. So if she's here, if the camera's here,
she has literally just asked her first question, which was, so it was supposed to have been this kind of round that you very helpfully drew a picture of. That's the only question she's asked so far. And he's like, "Oh, here now. Let me diagram the crime scene for you. I know I've already admitted to assuming it wasn't loaded, pointing a loaded weapon at a human being, pulling the trigger, and Swiss cheesing her and plugging the other dude behind her. But now that I've done that, let me diagram the crime scene for you."
And she's standing here talking, and I'm on a bench here, and Joel's behind her, and this is not proportionate because obviously the camera's not as big as her body, but I draw the gun slowly and aim off camera, and there's supposed to be nothing in there. So she's not protecting herself and standing off. I'm shooting in a direction.
It's Halyna's fault, everybody. Did you hear that? She wasn't protecting herself from the non-loaded gun. He just literally said she wasn't protecting herself by standing off to the side. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
Joel's behind her, and this is not proportionate because obviously the camera's not as big as her body, but I draw the gun slowly and aim off camera, and there's supposed to be nothing in there. So she's not protecting herself and standing off.
She's not protecting herself and standing off to the
I'm shooting
side.
in a direction, and everybody is supposed to be to that side of the camera. There's nobody in my line.
This is such bullshit. This is such absolute horseshit. He's literally just blaming her for being in the line of his gunfire. It's not his responsibility to point the weapon in a safe direction. Bitch got in my way when I was pulling the trigger of the gun that wasn't supposed to be loaded. That's what he just said. We're only 57 minutes into this, but fuck you, Alec Baldwin.
Nobody. And so when I shoot the gun, so in the rehearsal, I'm assuming I have an empty gun, and the gun goes off. She's right in front of me. Mm-hmm. She's as far from me as I am from the difference between maybe you and the door.
Okay. So pretty close proximity.
It was a very tight shot.
Okay.
The shot was here of me, not of me. It's of me pulling the gun slowly, turn cock.
Okay.
And she's right there, vulnerable, in a position she wouldn't ordinarily be if we were shooting. And this thing, boom, she hits the ground.
That's the third or fourth time he's blamed her for being in his goddamn way. And then, it says, calm down, Legal Vices. Why are you so mad? I hope you're being facetious. I'm so mad because he shot a woman. He killed a woman because he's an arrogant fucking prick. That's why I'm mad. And he's not taking responsibility, and he's literally blaming the woman that is dead. He doesn't know, by the way, he doesn't know she's dead yet. He's going to find that out in a little bit. He's literally blaming the woman he shot for being in his damn way.
All right, I'm going to back you up just a little bit, okay? How long have you been on set?
I arrived Monday the 11th.
Good.
Okay.
I started my fittings, and they were shooting the week before.
And the 11th of October?
Monday the 11th, I flew in from New York. I flew from New York to Denver to Albuquerque because there's no direct flights, and then drove from Albuquerque to here, rehearsed and fitted, and did all my preparatory stuff.
But that was in October, correct?
That was Tuesday the 12th, yeah. I flew on the 11th, rehearsed on the 12th, started shooting the 13th, Wednesday the 13th, I started shooting.
Okay.
We shoot a Wednesday through Sunday schedule. We're off Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. So the entire time you've been on set, have you seen the same armorer?
And her crew, yeah. Everybody.
How many people are on her crew?
My guess is that what I witness is 3.
Okay.
All young women. Hannah and 2 other women.
All right.
And very often they're tasked with me because we're not shooting every day, guns. There's no armaments every day. They dress me with my holster, my knife. The film is set in 1888, so I'm armed with the classic weaponry of the cowboy era.
Okay.
And so they would make sure I was dressed properly. 85% of their task is to make sure I'm dressed with everything properly.
The armorers?
The armorer's wardrobe doesn't necessarily, they sometimes trade back and forth, but wardrobe doesn't necessarily deal with my holster
Okay.
and the knife, but that's a prop. The armorer, Hannah, and her team, they dealt with me being knifed and that being lashed properly, so it looks proper.
Okay.
And the holster.
Okay.
So
And
it was wardrobe as much as it was props, as much as it was armaments.
okay. Do you know Hannah's last name?
No.
Do you know what she looks like?
Doesn't have a fucking clue what his armorer's last name is. The dude who is literally responsible for his own life and safety and the safety and lives of others who carrying weapons on set can't be bothered to learn her last name. Why would he need to know the names of the peons there? Duncan Idaho with the $5. Jeff, you don't understand. Those guns sometimes pull their own triggers. So much misinformation. I know, right? Stupid guns. People don't kill people. Guns kill people. JKD Buck 76, cold gun as opposed to cold cut. Both can fit on bread piled high with lettuce, and they can both be deadly. Just ask Mama Cass if you're old and get that reference.
Or can you describe what she looks like?
Multicolored hair, glasses, not too tall. Everyone knows her pretty well because her father is a very famous armaments guy. He's a guy that did guns in movies for decades. He's very well known.
Her father is one of the most famous armorers, if not the most famous armorer in film history. Everybody knows her father. His father has done this for decades, but I don't know what her name is. Dumbass, please. How about, yeah, exactly, Boosh. How about Reed? Does that ring any fucking bells, dude?
Okay.
She's the daughter of this famous movie gun guy.
And what about the other girls in her crew?
I don't remember their names.
Okay. Do you know what they look like?
A blonde, thin, not too short, kind of medium height, and brunette, someone on the shorter side, maybe the same height as Hannah, brunette, and also there's you go back and forth between, they're wearing a mask most of the time on set.
Right.
Ozzy Overload says, guns don't kill people. Apes with guns kill people.
Ape has never killed ape, let alone an ape child.
In order to do that. But I've seen them with their mask off.
Okay. All right. What time did you guys start today?
I don't know what time they started. I came in slightly later, but they had a couple of shots without me in the morning, so I came in at, I guess I arrived there at like about 7:45.
Okay.
Normally I'm there at like 6:30.
All right. And then
You have no idea how long I've been waiting for a chance to use that somewhere.
anything abnormal in the day? Who handed you your weapon in the day?
Hannah.
Handed it. Okay. And physically handed or put it in the holster?
Handed it to me.
Okay.
She would show me the gun.
Okay.
Or she'd say, cold gun. She'd say, test it, or some language to indicate, she handed me the gun, then it was fine. And she'd say, do you want to check? Okay. And I always didn't want to insult her. I said, we never had a problem.
Yeah.
I said, I'm good. So, and the first AD, right?
He said about 4 different things right there.
She handed me the gun, then it was fine. And
she said, test it. She told me it was fine or something like that.
Okay.
She would show me the gun.
She would show me the gun.
Okay.
Or she'd say, cold gun.
Or she would say it's cold gun.
She'd say, test it, or some language.
She said, test it, or some language to that effect.
To indicate, she handed me the gun, then it was fine. And she said, do you want?
And then it was fine. It's 4 different things literally in the same sentence. Which was it? And he said, I didn't want to insult her, so I just accepted it. Well, that really, really contrasts with Jensen Ackles, who said, I don't care if it offends them. I do these things myself because it's my life.
Want to check? And I always didn't want to insult her. I said, we never had a problem.
Yeah.
I said, I'm good. So, and the first AD very often will ask periodically. He'll say, let me check.
Okay.
And they'll have 2 people check for this very reason that we don't have any forget about live rounds of bullets. If we have any flash rounds in the gun while we're rehearsing, because if someone wants to indicate, and they're not thinking, they pull the trigger on the gun, you just hear the hammer, the the dead sound of the hammer hitting, and you have no flash rounds at all in there for the rehearsal. The rehearsal gun should be empty.
Okay.
And as I said, for the 2 weeks I've been shooting, it has been empty. We haven't had one problem.
And you have you physically checked that, or just by?
She announces to me that it's clean.
Okay.
So say cold gun, we rehearse. Then when she's done, she takes the gun, goes off to a corner. She has a kit, like a zip fanny pack with her elements in there. She puts the flash rounds in there. She'll say, quarter load, because it's a lower sound. Or she'll say full load. And if you're the crew and you're shooting me close.
I do every night, Sean. In the private, what I do in the privacy of my own home is none of your business, Sean.
Full load, it is rather loud. It's very loud.
Okay.
She's always announcing what's going to happen.
All right.
She's been very good about it.
I'm going to murder
So
this
have you
woman.
guys-
Bang.
Backtracking a little bit on this, because she's telling you what's in these guns. Have you guys been practicing with those quarter loads and full loads, all that, through the past couple of weeks? Or have you shot with them?
I came in on Tuesday. That's what I did Tuesday,
Okay.
the 12th. I came to the ranch, rode the horse. I just got used to that. And because they have a double who really rides in the distance up really fast. And all the athleticism you see me on the horse, and they cut to a watch and another guy riding was a real horse.
Okay.
I get quite a crew of them.
So today was not the first day that.
No, I shot on Tuesday the 12th with the Henry, the lever, arm action lever, the lever action rifle,
Okay.
and the pistol. I just shot both.
Okay.
Yeah, and meanwhile, there's video of him just like blasting all over the place.
And all right, moving back forward. What time did you guys break for lunch today?
Usually, I think today was probably 12:30.
Okay. And who took the weapon at that time?
Hannah
Physically took it.
always
from you.
knows. Rarely do the other ladies, the two other women, handle the pistol that's live shooting in the scene. As I said, I have the Henry in my hand as a prop. I'd be running through the scene, but no bullets, nothing. When they say cut, I could hand it to the blonde girl.
Okay.
Again, but whenever we were interacting with somebody where rounds were going to go in the gun, you would have flash rounds in the scene. We shot flash rounds. It was only Hannah.
Okay.
Only. With her fanny pack with the rounds in there, her equipment.
Okay. Do you know what time you guys got back from lunch?
My guess is 1:30 by the time we all get back to the set up. There's a base camp, and there's the set. So we go to the base camp for lunch. They always just drive back, get their wardrobe touched up, get their hair touched up, and makeup, whatever we do, and then we're on set about an hour before we go back on the set.
Okay. And was Hannah the one to physically hand you the gun at
Yes.
that point? Okay. During the time that you had it, was it ever handed off to anybody else?
No.
Okay.
I feel so bad for his lawyer. He's got a tough road to hoe here.
Did you see where she got the gun from?
No.
Okay.
She has a station somewhere with all her stuff.
Okay.
The elements and the gun, and a couple different guns. Guns for the other actors. So she has a loading gun.
Is anybody else allowed in that area?
I don't know, but I know that I've never seen anything that was out of the ordinary. She had sometimes they have a cart, almost like using like a hospital catering, like a big plastic tray.
A hospital catering cart.
Those wheels. I think that's what she had, but many of the departments have that. And on that tray would be her, or something like that. I don't recall what exactly hers was, but they have a station that they bring to the set for her to put all of her stuff. And if the weather is cooperative, and sometimes they put it under a tent if it looks like it might rain, then rain and damage the property. But she has a little place she would go to. And then she has a truck where she stores it. When they wrap, everything goes into a truck and she takes off. It's her responsibility to secure the prop weapons,
Everything in there.
which are real guns.
Can you actually describe the gun to me?
It's a Colt, a period Colt. In our emails back and forth when we were prepping the film, she showed me just a couple different styles of guns. This is not a big budget movie, so we didn't have a lot of choices. She showed you 3 or 4 choices. I said, give me the biggest gun you've got.
Okay.
And so I did, she showed me different guns. by email, and different knives by email, cruder knives that were made for like someone fashioned the handle out of like elkhorn or things like that. I took a traditional knife, a leather strap, a handle. We went back and forth about the holster and the material, and we just had a relatively brief conversation. I'm having made a lot of movies. I know how not to stress them out about the budget. When she shows me something, I try to make that work. And so she showed me, I said, just give me the big Colt. We were done. And then on that Tuesday, the 12th, I came and shot that gun.
Give me the biggest one, because I'm the biggest ego here.
I believe it's a brown handle, because she showed me two of the larger Colts. One had a cherry colored handle, and one had a brown handle. And I chose the brown handle.
You didn't want the cherry.
I could show you my emails. I didn't want the cherry. It was too shiny.
Ah, okay.
My character's a little bit in the retirement side of his career. So. He's a retired bank robber.
I'd say out in the Wild West.
Don't care, Alec.
Well, you always have people in films. I mean, they go to an extensive extent. You wouldn't believe some films that they have the budget, the details you go into, of all the things you wear, jewelry, hats, watches, guns, cars. I mean, people sit down. I mean, I've made a lot of films, and the films that have bigger budgets, you could spend a whole week going to rehearsal.
I am an actor.
The writer goes and rewrites.
Let me tell you how important I am, and how many big budget films I've worked on.
With the director, the producers, and the writer, when you're done reading, they'll go make amendments. So when they hear it come out of your mouth, they go, let's change that line. The way Bob says that, and then they go, and you go right to wardrobe, props, you go do a lot of stuff.
Okay. All right, so you get back from lunch.
Welcome to the Actors Studio with Alec Baldwin. He'll regale us with stories of movies past and what an awesome gentleman he is, and how people respect his opinion, and how he's worked on some very large budget movies, and he even affects the dialogue for some of these movies.
Freddie, she hands you the gun. Was this inside or outside?
We're inside the church set.
And was it the first rehearsal that the incident happened?
Acting.
Yeah, I believe so, because we talked about, as we were going to lunch, we always talked about what's next.
Okay.
So as we were rehearsing scenes, he said, now I want to do a scene where we've done other shots before lunch. He said, when we come back from lunch, we'll do this. And he said, wait, pull out, show me. Because I was showing you what I thought was the best angle, to see the glint of the gun under my coat. Because you want the scene to work, the shot to work. So where the holster's here, the gun is here, my coat comes around, and I held my hand like it was like I was just cupping my hands.
Cupping.
Okay.
And I showed him in the rehearsal. So when we came back after lunch, we rehearsed for the camera, and I took the gun. I'm showing him. I'm going to go like this, like this, like this. Cock and turn. Bang! It went off. The first time.
Okay. So it was
the very first time that we were shooting that shot, that we were rehearsing for that shot.
Okay.
That camera shot.
And you may, if you don't know this, did you happen to see? So obviously, you guys left from your upper shooting area to go have lunch, or did you eat lunch up there?
No, we always go back to the base camp for lunch.
Okay.
For the stage.
Did the armorers, or did you see the armorers go down?
No.
No.
Nor would I.
Okay.
Well, once they're gone, I'm gone.
Okay. Do people stay up on set, or does everybody go down?
Well, there are many people who will forego lunch.
Okay.
I take that back, not many. There are some who will forego lunch because they have work to do.
Forego.
Some will hold them a plate. Some will bring their own lunch. Many people, they make sacrifices because of their pride for their department.
Mm-hmm.
They may sit there and say, I think I need to paint that wall and touch up that wall. I think I need to distress those booths. They all have work to do. And very often, a small number of people will stay up top while we drive down from the set to the base camp. The caterer is there in need, but maybe a modest number of people stay up there.
Okay. All right. And then I just want to clarify, really, I know you're drawing something. All right. So when you had pulled out the gun, obviously you were not at the cameraman, but you had identified there were two people there. Can you tell me who those people were?
My recollection is that the operator was there. He's a Steadicam operator.
Okay.
He's a man who there's either a camera on sticks that's stationary, or there's a man who operates the Steadicam that moves. The camera operator was there behind the camera, and she was to his right.
And who is she? That's the one.
Halyna, the cinematographer.
Okay.
The camera director.
And she was right next to the cameraman.
She was to his right, to my left.
And who is behind her?
Joel,
And he is.
the director of the movie.
Shot is what he is. He's shot.
Can you recall who exactly was inside at the time of the incident? Or anyone else?
Dave Halls,
Okay.
the first AD. He's in charge of the crew.
And he's also pled guilty. He's probably the smartest one of the bunch.
Of the set.
Pled guilty, sentenced to was a 6 months probation. So he was probably the smart one. Hey Joe with a $10 super chat. I just came here for Doggo Cam. Hey, we're about halfway there. Also, happy belated birthday. Well, thank you very much. Hey Joe, appreciate that. Biff Thunder Muffin. Alex should have taken a plea. Oh yeah. Yeah, he should have. I think he should have taken a plea, avoided jail time. Yep. But well, now I hope he serves every damn minute of an 18-month sentence. That's what he's facing here. At the end of the day, he's facing 18 months. It ain't gonna happen. I mean, he's not gonna serve every minute of it even if he's convicted. But I hope he does, just for me. Tina 7878 is this a naive question? What possible reason could there be for any live rounds to be on a movie set? It's not a naive question, and the answer is there is none. There is no reason ever for any live rounds to be ever on a movie set. Ever. Elizabeth Diane says there's also a call that Alec made to the investigator helping with the case while he's on a drive through the city with his family. He claims he's retiring after all of this. You actually made 2 separate phone calls to the police. He literally called and said, "Oh, I've been thinking about this. Let me talk about this a little bit longer." He did that twice. Legal Vices says Bush McFadden. Does he even know her name was Halyna? If I recall, no. If I recall, he doesn't. I think he called her that woman or something like that at one point. If I recall, because and then someone else it was Mary Jane says, "Haven't I seen this before?" Yeah, I have. This was literally the first, for those of you that missed the introduction here, the very beginning of the show. This originally was the very first live stream I ever did on YouTube, was watching this video over 2 years ago. And so seeing as trial is starting tomorrow, I thought we would go and watch this today again. We'd rewatch it. Rubio with a $20. Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you so very much. All right. You get a bell ring for that. I think that he talked as much as he did and got himself into all this trouble in part because of unconscious bias. He's assuming these 2 female police officers don't understand guns and he needs to explain things. Yep. Yeah. He's got to explain acting to these women folk. And if I remember correctly, I think one of these police officers, one of these sheriff's ladies, I think one of them went to film school or wanted to be, or worked for a went to film school, worked for a film studio, or did something, wanted to do something. I think they talk about it a little bit later, but they know guns and movies. Danielle watched the trailer for The Juror for sound clips. Oh, I haven't seen that. I keep thinking I'm going to watch that, and then I forget. Thank you. That'd be fun. I hear it's great. All right, let's continue.
He's in charge of all the grips, all the crew.
Okay.
Electric, cable.
Do you know his name?
Dave Halls.
Okay.
Dave Halls is always there. Halyna, Joel, me.
Okay, he didn't know her name.
An assistant camera person. The script supervisor. The woman who sits in the corner in some strategic position.
And the woman who sits in the corner.
On all the action of the take, so you can batch. If one day you're doing a scene, you sit there and go, "What is your first name?"
Samantha.
So they're like, "Samantha, it's really important that you and I get together and talk about that case. You drank. When did you?" She makes notes, so we match every take. That's called continuity. That woman who does continuity, she's always there watching. She was in the room.
Okay.
She's an older woman, like in her 60s, maybe with that colored blonde hair, maybe, or brown hair. But I forget her name now. But she is So there's a group of people that are always there for every shot, even if you're in a kind of a cramped interior.
We don't care, Alec.
It's not large. So then the rest of the crew's outside.
Now, see, all of this is boring. All of this is useless. All of this has nothing to do with anything, but the cops are just letting him talk, letting him get comfortable, letting him think he's in charge, letting him think he's leading the conversation, letting him think he's dominant and dominating them, they're just letting him go. They got no reason to butt in and tell him to focus. Just let him go and eventually give him. This is the classic example of the saying, give them enough rope to hang themselves with.
And that's why it was a limited number of people, maybe. I don't remember. But I know that every time we do a shot, those people are always on the set. Camera, assistant camera, cinematographer, director, first AD, script.
Okay. So not too many.
Very few.
Do you think that any part of this incident that occurred was intentional?
Oh, I can only say this, which is, and it was, to me, to place a bullet and position a bullet that is a live round, to make sure that that bullet is in the chamber, if I were to squeeze the trigger in a rehearsal, that bullet came out, someone has to have extraordinary access to that weaponry to do that. I can't imagine somebody walked around with a round that was a 45 caliber round. So you see other people on the set were speculating that if it was a 45 caliber round, she'd be dead. It would have blown a big hole in her.
Well, guess what? Spoiler alert, Alec Baldwin. Spoiler alert. She is dead. You just don't know it yet. Yeah, hate to spoil that for you, Alec Baldwin. But see, again, here he's like making it sound like it must have been an intentional hit. Someone must have intentionally loaded this and put it in the chamber before to take somebody out. He's kind of going down that road there. Yeah, the spoiler alert.
That bullet came out. Someone has to have extraordinary access to that weaponry to do that. I can't imagine somebody walked around with a round that was a 45 caliber round. So you see other people on the set were speculating that if it was a 45 caliber round, she'd be dead.
Yeah.
It would have blown a big hole in her.
Yep.
And so we're wondering, was the projectile that went in her some foreign material stuck, and it was an accident, it was a flash round?
No, it was a 45 caliber round.
Check. They always check. But
to your experience with these armor,
I've never heard of anything like this in my life, ever.
Okay.
I've never heard of a projectile coming out of a prop gun that went through a person's body, regardless of her being a smaller woman. That the bullet went in here, I'm told, went in here, came out here, her shoulder or whatever, and went into his body. I've never heard of that in my life. I don't know of any projectile with a gun in a flash prop gun that could accomplish that. Now, if somebody put a live round in there accidentally, see, a very important question for Hannah is, have you ever commingled live rounds with theatrical rounds in your kit? Because they're forbidden to do that. According to, I think, the union rules and the safety rules for all.
And you're kind of forbidden from pointing live weapons at people and pulling the trigger by law, but you do it anyway.
All the unions, you're not allowed to do that because of the fear of what will happen if you commingle. So whether someone accidentally, and I can't even imagine this, deliberately placed a live round in that gun, I've never heard of that in my life. And I don't know anything about what happened, but all I know is when I see the other thing about this is
forbidden.
In a live round, you have a recoil, usually. When I shot that gun and it went off, I didn't shoot it when it went off. I didn't intend for it for what happened to happen.
Yes, well, if you intended for what happened to happen, that would be first-degree murder. If you intended for that to happen, yeah, it would be first-degree murder. You didn't intend for it to happen, which is why it's involuntary manslaughter. You did something that anybody in their right damn mind would or should know was incredibly dangerous and could lead to someone's death or injury.
When that happened, I'm always told about it because I'm not a gun person. I don't have a gun.
I'm not a gun person, says the man who uses a gun in just about every movie.
They always tell me, they ask me to simulate the recoil. When I shoot the Colt, which is a big gun, 45 caliber bullet, they always teach me when we should be go action. I go, get back here, boom, and they make me take my hand and go boom and have to kick, because there's no kick in a flash round.
Okay.
And when this happened, I don't recall there being any kick either. That's important.
Okay.
See, that's really, really interesting. The adrenaline or memory blanking, whatever you want to call it. Dude doesn't even remember the kick from a 45 Colt long barrel pistol. Memory is very, very selective and very, very deceptive.
Are you, I know you said you don't own a gun, but are you experienced with shooting guns?
Only as much as actors have to be experienced.
Okay. Which is normally not.
Dude,
well, if you do a movie,
you grew up around guns. Don't bullshit it. Come on, dude.
Safety with weapons is primary. You go off with people. You go off with armaments people to ranges. I've gone to ranges in Arizona where we shot a lot of guns in a movie many years ago, and you go to a range and you shoot for a few hours, and they teach you how to shoot shotguns, Walther, different, little small guns, James Bond guns, big guns, Uzis, machine guns, whatever you're using. They make you go and rehearse for hours, like a whole day.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they're very safety conscious, as they have been here. They've been very safety conscious here throughout. That's what puzzles me.
Well, and I guess that's more like the question that I'm trying to get at is, do you think someone would deliberately do this?
I can't imagine who would.
Okay.
People have said, that 6 people got fired from the crew yesterday because they said that the union, I don't want to get into a long diatribe about this, but the union, the International Association of Theatrical Stage Employees, IATSE is their name. IATSE is the union that controls all the actors. The Directors Guild controls the director, the Screen Actors Guild, but all of the crew are controlled by a contract in which those people voted to go on strike against the major studios, the major networks, the major streaming services, but not the independent film community. In
Again,
fact,
just let him talk.
IATSE
Let him
rep
get
for the
comfortable
Mexico
saying
contract,
shit he shouldn't be
stated
saying.
Contracts was instructed by his bosses in LA. He said, don't go on strike. The strike is against the majors, not against the indie people. And in the indie films, there's 6 different tiers, I believe, in terms of the contract, how much they're paid.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of people on the set walked off anyway, even though they were told not to strike. They struck and they left.
Duncan Idaho with the $2 translation. Yes, I am very familiar with guns. Yeah, he grew up around them, like literally. Anyway.
And that was yesterday.
That was yesterday. That was their last day. And
Yeah.
the question becomes, somebody said, would one of them do? I don't really know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, and it was good because that was mentioned to me, is that it sounded like it was most of the camera crew that walked off set yesterday and quit, and maybe they got fired because they walked off. So the other thing is that the 2 major people, like you said, the director, those are the ones who got hurt. So with the camera crew and them quitting, and then your director getting injured, as well as Halyna, you don't think there's anybody that had any anger towards them or anything that wouldn't want to?
I don't know the details. I know that one guy, whose name I'm forgetting, he was a very heavy-set guy.
Okay.
He was and lovely to me. And he walked up to me and he said, thank you for the things you posted on social media in support of the IATSE strike. And he said, I'd like to talk to you privately because he said, because I've got some of my guys sleeping in their car.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the crew here, because they're shooting in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, or Albuquerque based, they live there. So the drive time, it's kind of common knowledge in the business that the unions in New Mexico signed very bad deals in order to attract movie shooting here. They wanted to grow the crew base here. So they signed the deal that wasn't a good deal, and that gave them a 60-mile commute radius. So that means if you live within 60 miles of the set, you come to work and you don't get paid any, you have to drive home, they don't hotel you. They don't know in New York, it's 30 miles, and they have to put you up in a hotel and give you gas money. And there's a whole other complicated contract in the more expensive markets. Here, this guy was telling me, he turned to me and goes, my guys are sleeping in their car. Now, I went to the AD and the producers and I asked him, what's up with that? He said, they knew what the contract was. We signed the IATSE contract in New Mexico. And then in the middle of shooting, they decided they wanted to rewrite their deal. They said, put us up in hotels. Now, if you put the camera crew up in a hotel, all the other crafts are going to ask you to put them in a hotel. We don't have the budget for that. That could be $75,000, $80,000. You know what I mean?
Who is that man?
Who?
The one you said that.
I forget his name.
Okay.
But anybody there can tell you.
He doesn't remember anybody's name.
They quit yesterday. They didn't come to work today. But my point is that if I'm standing there,
if you're on this film and you have to miss a day of work, this was the day to miss. This was the day you didn't want to be on set.
Rehearsal. I'm thinking to myself, could someone actually believe that in a rehearsal I would actually aim the gun and hit those two people? That's far-fetched. Or do they want just somebody to get hit? Or I keep telling myself, more likely, was it an accident? It was a large quarter load makes noise, but it's like kind of a puff compared. But a half load could shoot a projectile if something was stuck in the barrel. And like I said, the thing that is, I think, going to answer all your questions is, what's in Joel's shoulder? Is it a rock or is it a bullet?
I
can actually tell you that right now, Mr. Baldwin. Let me just pick up my phone.
Show that to you.
What?
What was in his shoulder?
Did they take it out?
So you being on set for so many years, like you said, have you ever seen? You said you've never seen anything come out before.
I've never seen a projectile come out. No.
Right.
No.
But do you know what the bullets look like? Would it have looked something like this if anything did ever come out of something?
Okay. No. Okay.
So let's backtrack a little bit.
Let me say this to you.
Hold on.
That's a bullet.
Yeah, that's a bullet. Now there's like a little, like inside of this dark, empty void of a brain. There's a little spark going off now somewhere in the back of Alec Baldwin's empty outer darkness skull. Little spark is going, uh-oh, that's a bullet in the guy's shoulder. Holy shit, I think I shot a woman with a live round. Oh, this could be bad for me. This slowly starts to develop here.
Bullet.
Right.
As I suspected, somebody put a live round in the gun. If that's a bullet that was pulled out of his shoulder, then someone loaded a live round into the gun I was holding.
So now, let me ask you, did you see the rounds that were in the gun?
No.
Have you seen, throughout the whole time on set, have you seen what they look like?
I've watched her load and reload the gun many times.
Have you seen the bullets and stuff?
Well, meaning yes, meaning you see sometimes the head is the casing and the head is pinched. It almost looks like a dumpling.
Mm-hmm.
It's closed at the top. There is no piece. And you put the cosmetic round in when you know you're going to see. If I say to you, what is your first name again?
Alex.
If I say to you, Alex, don't you move a muscle, darling, I'm going to blow you. And the camera shoots me. You want to see the material in the cylinder, the cosmetic.
He called her darling.
Non-bullet round.
So can you describe to me what those clay-based rounds look like?
They look like a bullet.
What colors?
They're gray. They look exactly like a bullet. Brass head and a brass base, packed with something, I'm assuming, and then the head look like a bullet. So cosmetically, you see that in the cylinder. The other rounds you shoot have it's the base with the pin. This comes up, and it's a round like this. And if you look at the top, if you're looking down at the bullet, with the not the pin down here, the top of it, you look at, it's folded in almost like a.
Yeah, it's like that.
Again, here I've drawn you pictures of the other types of rounds. Let me draw you a picture of the blank round now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, they're like a dumpling.
Like a pinch.
Exactly, it's like a folded up thing, and the try and all that just goes boom.
So
There's no projectile there.
if I showed you a couple rounds, would you be able to tell me if they're the ones that look like they were on set?
Probably. I think I could probably tell you which were the rounds that were put in cosmetic.
Okay.
And which were the rounds that were the flash rounds.
All right.
Now, forgive me because I'm very upset right now.
I know.
But you know what I think?
Now he's very upset. Now that he realizes that it was a bullet. And see, notice how once he finds out it's a real bullet, he's starting to not be such an expert about things anymore. Can you identify the different kinds of... He drew diagrams of them. He explained what they were. He talked about what they looked like. And now she's like, if I showed you these things, do you think you would be able to identify them? Well, maybe possibly I might be able to identify these things I just explained and drew pictures of. And he is the second interview. Before this interview was conducted, Hannah was interviewed. Hannah Gutierrez Reed was interviewed, and she just happened to have all the different, except for the live rounds, of course. She had the dummy rounds and the blank rounds with her and gave them to the cops. And so the cops have them, and they're going to bring them out here.
So please don't forgive my weirdness about this. That's what came out of Joel's shoulder.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Yep. And the reason why I was showing you because you said you have experience, but you're saying when this does come out, it's supposed to just tough and not really be
usually
a hard object.
If there's any chance that when you look at the gun, so here's the barrel, here's the sight, and the cylinders around it has the holes. Mm-hmm. We're just looking at the guns, the camera's eye view. Yeah. When you look at the cosmetic rounds go in, they have no flash. But if you want to have cosmetic rounds that flash, if you want me to hold the gun, you see the bullets, and I shoot, that material is often a clay or fabricated material that just disintegrates.
Not really.
And the round that you put that you don't see, you're not seeing down the barrel, you shoot. Those are the flash rounds, which have the top that looks like it's like folded kind of things like this, which will it looks like something's packed in close.
But specifically today was supposed to be either empty or the ones that don't even make anything.
Cold rounds.
So cold round, the one with the hole in it.
Yes.
And it's not supposed to puff up or powder off, like you said.
Halls told me that when he checked the rounds with her, they were all had the holes in them.
Well, clearly they didn't. So either he's lying, or either Hales lied to you, you're lying to them, or you didn't look at him. That's it.
Sometimes he told me, when I wasn't familiar with this, they'll take the round, and if it's a cold round, it'll have the holes, and inside will be BBs, and you shake it.
Yeah.
When you shake the BB, it's an acoustic thing to tell you that's a cold round.
Okay. And that's what
inside this base is stuff that rattles, little BBs that rattle. So you take it, go.
Now he's an expert again.
Okay. And that's what you were supposed to have today.
I was supposed to have an empty gun.
Empty.
Or when we shot for the rehearsal, empty.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we shot, the flash rounds and everybody preps. And then she says, "Hot gun." She announces it, and the crew gets ready.
But that you didn't even get to that part.
I rehearsed with a hot gun. Now.
But you were supposed to be cold.
It was supposed to be cold or empty. But now, not only did I rehearse with a hot gun, I rehearsed with a gun that had a bullet inside. If that's what came out of your show, this is the most horrifying thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, so yeah, and that's why I wanted to make sure that anytime that you've shot a hot gun, you've never seen anything like this come out before.
Never.
Because I'm not familiar with prop guns. I could tell you what a projectile looks like, and that does look like a projectile.
But that's a bullet.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's what comes out of.
Well, I think the question, I don't want to tell you your job, but I'm so sick about this, so sickened by this, that a bullet passed through this girl's body. She's in critical condition in a hospital right now.
That little spark that was going on in the back of his head has now just kind of grown to a dim little flame. That bullet went straight through Halyna, or that girl, as I believe he just called her. Went straight through her and into Joel's arm or shoulder. That little flame back there is starting to grow.
That's what comes out of.
Well, I think the question, I don't want to tell you your job, And I'm so sick about this, so sickened by this, that a bullet passed through this girl's body. She's in critical
Yes, not Halyna, this girl. Good old what's her name?
condition in a hospital right now. And I fired the gun.
Yep.
And you don't think I feel really, really shitty about that, I do, but the question becomes, to ask Hannah, did you commingle live bullets?
Doesn't matter. You didn't check.
What they call live rounds. When they say live round, that's a bullet that a police officer would shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? In her kit.
Doesn't matter. You pointed a gun at someone without checking to see whether it was loaded, and you pulled the trigger.
She commingled live rounds with dummy rounds or movie rounds.
And we asked her. We asked her that. Do you know where you guys get the rounds from? Who orders it? Or you don't have any part of any of that?
Who, me?
Yeah, like,
that's her. Yeah.
All familiar. Okay.
All I know is when we come to the set, you hand me a cold gun. Nothing's in it. Then we load the gun with the flash rounds and we shoot. That's it. Every time. We never had a problem.
You didn't even get part to that second part of you'll hand it back. I do want to ask you about Dave Hall. I understand sometimes she'll hand the gun off to Dave Hall and then he'll hand it to you. Did that happen at this incident? It was Hannah handing.
I never.
He says he got the weapon directly from Hannah. Well, Hannah testified she gave it to Dave Hall. Dave Hall gave it to him. And that's also apparently what Hall's statement was as well. I gave it to him. And as long as we're paused here, Duncan, Idaho, I don't think it was a coincidence that the two fattest detectives, Dave and Earl, were not assigned to this interrogation. This is just amazing. Yeah. These women are good. They're just letting him hang himself. So Alec was a producer, i.e. in charge of this negligence. Not sure he should be in jail, nor is it his fault, but he still didn't check the gun. Well, that makes it his fault. There can be more than one person at fault, and definitely not checking a gun, pointing at somebody and pulling the trigger. That's your fault. And interesting that I didn't watch the motions hearing yesterday, and I'm not sure I saw it correctly, but I believe that they said that they limited the evidence and said that they can't bring up evidence of him being a producer on the movie. I think that's what I heard yesterday. We'll have to see. Someone in chat, I'm sure, watched it and can tell me. But again, he wasn't like the big producer. He was a financial producer. According to the contract he had, it was specifically for basically money. He was the money guy. He wasn't in charge of hiring, firing, or doing any of that, he says. Yep, correct. No producer evidence.
I recall that when we would stop the scene, if we finished the scene, Halls is someone who is assumed by his position to be authorized to do nearly everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was doing a scene with you and we finished the scene, we finished your angle and we were going to turn around and shoot my angle, when they say turning around, that means it's time to go to the bathroom, go get a bottle of water, go get a coffee, go smoke a cigarette. We have a break. And if I was going to go to the bathroom, I'd hand Halls the gun to give to her. I would only hand it to her, or if she wasn't around, if she was away, she'd be at the shop. They cleared it. And Halls the gun, so give it to her. Give this to Hannah.
So sometimes you would hand the gun to Halls, but you never, he never handed the gun to you.
No.
Okay.
No, never.
So you would hand it to him.
I passed it off to him if she was not on site and I was going to run to use the bathroom. I was going to, but that's very typical. Halls is empowered and authorized to hand him the weapon. He's the only other person to hand the weapon after we were done. Whether it was a cold gun with no things or flash rounds, I'd say hot gun, hand it to him. Well, usually not, because usually it was a hot gun. If it was a hot gun, we were going to shoot. She'd be right nearby.
Mm-hmm.
If I hit, because other times we have rubber guns, fake guns. Yeah. Yeah.
And specifically, right before this incident, Hannah handed you the gun.
What in the world are you guys looking at that are saying looks like French fries or cake pops? What are you looking at? Here at the bottom, we've got these two cell phones. Over here on the left, we've got a mask and another cell phone. We've got the bottle of water. We've got some papers here, some notebooks, and a pen. What are you looking at? It looks like cake pops or French fries. Whatever.
And said cold. It wasn't Dave.
I don't mean cold. No, Hannah handed me the gun.
Okay. It wasn't anybody else but Hannah.
No, Hannah.
Starbucks bag.
And she
Okay.
specifically said.
I believe she said cold. I don't recall.
Where, so this is not, I'm not that great of a drawer, but this is the church, this is the front where the
You enter here. Yeah.
church, cross is. Where did she hand the gun to you? Inside while you were
Oh, yes, because I was seated.
You were,
In other words, this is a scene in the church where you come in and there's a lot of disarray. There's benches tipped over and here was one bench that was upright and sturdy. Some of the other benches are prop benches, so they can smash easily with explosives. You want the gunfire to have fake benches. They're made of a lighter wood, so they put charges inside. So when you shoot, cinematically, when a guy's shooting a gun, you turn around and see what he's shooting at, you're going to see charges that are buried inside. They put a little material behind, you're going to see boom, 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 it seems flash. That is a prop bench. There were prop benches around that they were eventually going to put, today we're going to put squibs in to have them blow up. And this was a
Thank
real
you, Sherry.
bench.
Thank you
If
very
you
much.
sat on the prop bench, it would break.
Mhm.
This was a live bench, and I sat here, and the camera was here, and she was here, and Joel was here.
she being
Halyna.
okay, and
I'm here on the bench sitting. I'm right
Here, let me continue to flesh out this map of exactly what the crime scene looked like for you here, if you don't mind. No, please go ahead.
here to the right. I'm all the way to one side. They wanted me to go all the way to that side. And the camera guy was here. He's behind. Hannah was here. Joel was here. Where the other people, I believe that the script room was always in that corner, so she could see the actual. And when I shot the gun away from the cameraman, I always never aimed against the camera. I turned and I went like this to aim the camera, and she was there, and the gun went off, and she just went right on the ground.
What about the armorer though? Or was she?
She's outside.
Okay.
she hands
She
you
comes
the gun,
in. She hands me the gun all the time.
and then what?
If there's any shooting involved in the scene, she always hands me the gun.
Never has Dave handed you the gun.
Never.
Okay. And then she goes back outside.
She waits
When-
outside because she just can't be there, so they don't want to see. Sometimes in the scene there's reflections, like you use it. So you only need the necessary crew in there for shooting the camera. Everybody else leaves, and as soon as they cut, they come running back in.
Okay. Real quick before she shows you that, the other thing I wanted to know, and it's probably helping when she does show you those around. Have you, in your experience, ever been told that you're not supposed to cock the gun?
No.
No, you're okay.
He wanted me to cock the gun in the scene.
Okay.
He wanted it as part of the scene. He said, "I'm going to take the gun out, turn, and cock it into to the right, my left, to their right of the lens." It was if I'm sitting here and you're the camera, we don't talk about my left. We talk about camera right. Camera right. We only talk about the camera. Camera right is my left. So if I'll say to you, "Where do you want me to aim the gun?" They'll say, "Camera right." So I aim the gun to my left.
Okay.
So I open.
Did you see that? I noticed that. He's explaining how you have to do, camera right is his left. Everything is opposite because you're looking at like stage right, stage left. He pointed the gun in the wrong goddamn direction.
Where do you want me to aim the gun? They'll say, "Camera right." So I aim the gun to.
Did you see that? He pointed off to camera left and then moves it to camera right. Dude again just demonstrated he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Look at him, you have to point it to camera right. Oh, it's over here. Fuck me. Ugh.
Camera right is my left. So if I'll say to you, "Where do you want me to aim the gun?" They'll say, "Camera right." So I aim the gun to my left.
Okay.
So I always aim the gun away, but she was there. And in the rehearsal, he wanted me to pull out the gun and cock the gun. And if you're assuming you have a cold gun, there's no problem.
Right.
And again, a cold gun I'd had every time we've used guns.
The
in this
problem
film,
is you
we never had
assuming
one
it's
problem.
unloaded.
Never.
Okay. and I don't, maybe we discussed this when I was gone. After the gun was shot, who did you hand the gun to?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. I made everybody freaked out.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
It was one of those two people.
Ouch. See, winter storm. That's harsh.
I don't really know. I would imagine, well, there's the dummy there. So that's probably a dummy round.
You're a dummy.
And there's no drill in this. That might be a flash round. And as I said,
So flash rounds do not have holes.
Good point, KT.
Well, the flash round has a charge in here of powder, different sizes. Like I said, quarter, half, full load, and a wadding in there to pack it in, packed in tightly.
Okay.
So when you hit this pin, it explodes. Now, sometimes it has this material there if you have to have the cosmetic feature through the gun and then shoot. But often it has, there's the BBs in there. This is a dummy round. No dummy here, but there's that. My point is that very often when you...
So he's just actually looked at the rounds that Hannah Gutierrez Reed gave the police, and he correctly identified them. He just literally showed them how easy it is to tell the blank and dummy rounds. He's just demonstrated his expertise in such things, and he has clarified that it is incredibly easy to tell them apart.
Give me when she's loaded the gun with rounds for us to go hot and flash and shoot, it had that crease.
Hey, don't say hot flashes around those.
The
things.
dumpling head, as we say.
Okay.
They've almost never looked like this for the flash. Only when the camera sees inside the cylinder do you put those in.
But those are both dummy rounds.
That's a dummy
Here.
round. That's a dummy round. That's what they taught me.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
Now suddenly I'm not an expert. He's spent the last 50 minutes explaining the difference between these types of bullets, diagramming them, drawing pictures of them, demonstrating how to tell the difference, and then actually performing a differentiation between various types of rounds. Now he's like, I don't know. I'm just an unfrozen caveman actor. I don't understand your newfangled bullety, roundy sort of things, even though I've drawn pictures of them. For fuck's sake. Yeah, now he's like, oh, I'm not an expert in this shit. I can't. I know nothing. I just do what they tell me to do. I just listen to them. I can't be held responsible because me not expert.
I have more experience with something else than we do.
I doubt that. I'm sure I always see it in my wife. I get a little nervous. That's what I'm nervous. No. I'm my house. I got 6 kids. I'm 63 years old, and I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and an 8-month-old who we have as a surrogate.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 63 years old, and we had 6 kids in 7 years.
Well,
So
aren't you
wife,
just Mr. Virile, vigorous, and potent?
She's like, Alec, we will not be having any guns in the house. No.
He's even mimicking his wife's fake Spanish accent. We all know that his wife Hilaria, which I think is because that's actually her name, Hilaria. I think it's hilarious that she's been faking the Spanish accent for like most of his life. Yeah. Oh, his Spanish wife. Yeah. She's been faking this accent. It's well known that she's faked the accent. And now he's like actually mimicking her fake accent. There would be no gun. And it sounds pretty damn French to me. We will not be having any guns in the house. Dude,
wife was always, she was born in the U.S. but raised in Spain. She's like, Alec, we will not be having any guns in the house. No. But
Okay.
I believe that's a dummy round.
So you called this a flash round, right?
Yeah. Flash round means there's a charge in there. No charge in there.
Yes, her name is Hilaria.
No charge in there if you see that.
So what happens
So I
when you
was told.
shoot these? Or
her birth name is Hillary.
You put them in there cosmetically with nothing in them, so that through the cylinder you can see that.
Now he's an expert
You
again.
can see in the cylinder whether the cylinder is empty, or they look bad, continuity-wise, or that there's a round in there. So they put a cosmetic round in the chamber. They load the gun, close it, and then
Hey,
I hold
Bernice.
the gun. You see the things in there. A flash round.
We got about 20 minutes left.
Would be like what crimped is the word. A crimped round with a charge inside, and that one shoots, and there's no projectile. I'm really challenged whether they ever see. I doubt. Sometimes they have these where you can do both, but that's the clay material. But usually, 99% of the time, when we shot a flash round, it was the crimped thing, and you don't see inside the cylinder. Okay. So you're the camera, and I'm not pointing where you can see it. I'm off a little bit. All you see is the flash.
Do you know what would happen if you shot one of these? Have you ever had experience with that?
Nothing.
Nothing happens with them?
There's no charge in them. Okay. This indicates.
See, again, this is some great detecting here. This is some great interrogation. These are sheriff's deputies. They know what bullets look like. They know what live ammunition is. They know what dummy rounds do and don't do. But he's saying, I'm not the expert. I don't know anything about these. And so she's playing dumb. She's playing absolutely dumb. So these dummy rounds, what do they do if you pull the trigger and you shoot them? He's like, oh, wait a minute. I know I said I wasn't an expert, but let me tell you, this is what happens. She's just letting him talk. He's not an expert. Well, let me. I don't know what this does. What does this do, Mr. Baldwin? And then let him explain it. Oh yes, you are an expert, aren't you?
Right. Well, sometimes they have the pin to create something. I'm just saying. When I look at this, when I go like this. Now, by the way, there could be a charge in there, and that charge and those BBs could come out. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to know whether this rattling indicates that it's an empty, a cold round. That's obviously a cold round, because that's where the gunpowder would be in here. Mm-hmm. That's a cold round.
Obviously.
This, I'm assuming, is a cold round, but they go like this to tell themselves it's a cold round. Oh, I believe. Please don't take my word for it.
Just in your experience.
I'm a father of 6 children, pretty much. That's all I do these days. My experience is those are both cold rounds.
Okay.
And I was told by Halls that when they took the gun away and looked at them, every round inside the gun was a cold round, except the one round was not only a hot round, it was a lot.
Well, Mr. Baldwin, that begs the question, how many rounds need to be in the gun to kill someone?
Just 5 round with a bullet. If you're telling me that that's what came out of his shoulder, there's something really, really scary going on here.
Well, and I think that's what she was trying to ask, is if any time, well, you said these are cold ones, but the ones that are not cold, the quarter,
right?
Those
they have the crimped head.
Have you ever seen anything like that ever come out on set?
No, it's not possible.
Not possible. Okay.
It's not possible.
Yeah, they don't have a head. I'm saying
they don't have there's no projectile.
There's no projectile. Okay. So then, and you shouldn't.
Somebody put a live bullet in the gun.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't separate or do that either.
No.
Okay.
Separate. No, probably.
Like that shouldn't come out either when if it does.
If you did a flash round, that wouldn't be there.
Okay.
This is a cosmetic round only.
Right.
I point the gun, that's in the cylinder. When we shoot the gun, 99% of the time, it's a flash round that you don't see the cylinder. Mm-hmm. You're the camera, and I'm slightly off, so you don't see the
I'm sorry, we keep having you explain that, but it's just because there's different rounds.
Right. I'm saying this is a cosmetic round, to my knowledge. Mm-hmm. And if there is, another question is there a cosmetic round? I mean, is there a flash round that has the head, which I believe they have, where you could shoot into the gun? Meaning, if the director wants you to aim the gun at the camera, they put a lucite screen up there, and I shoot the gun at you, you can see the bullets inside there, or they can go to do that with a computer. Mm-hmm. But if I put the thing toward you and then shoot, they'll have a round that has this on there that will explode. But again, I've been told that is a clay material or something that just dissolves on explosion. You know, projectile comes out. Mm-hmm. On a flash round, it blows up. that you shoot on camera, quarter, half, full. There is no projectile unless some material is stuck in the barrel of the gun.
Okay.
And I thought for sure what happened was, did they not check there was a stone or whatever? Now again, I am speechless.
Are you really
shooting, everything was going
are you
fine.
really speechless, Alec? You haven't been speechless for the last hour, my friend.
Joel is my friend. I'm one of the producers on this movie. We've developed this movie together for 3 years. I left my wife and 6 kids in New York to come here for a month to shoot this movie. And I'm the one that shot the gun today that had a live bullet go through that woman's body and into his body.
And if you're the prosecutor, that's what our first witness is one of these two to authenticate this video. You play that sentence and you say the prosecution rests. That's all you do. You just play him saying those 1 or 2 sentences. And you say, all right, he's guilty of involuntary manslaughter. He literally just went through all of the elements of the crime of involuntary manslaughter and said, I'm the one that did this.
Shot the gun today. I had a live 6 kids in New York to come here for a month to shoot this
Listen
movie.
to this.
And I'm the one that shot the gun today. I had a live bullet go through that woman's body and into his body. And I need to know, how did that happen?
Guilty. It doesn't matter.
Where did that bullet come from?
It happened because you pulled the trigger, you fuckwit. That's how it happened. Yeah, he's just admitted to everything he needs to admit to.
There are no live rounds in her kid, I'm told. Everybody was sitting around waiting for you to come here with all the sheriffs and all the people that were there, waiting for us to get ready to come and do this with you. But all they did was talk about it. It was speculation of like, in her kit, she doesn't have live rounds.
And that's what we were told. That's what when we asked her, she said, there is no live rounds, not even in her kit, on set, anywhere. So
for that very reason,
we want to know the same question too. Yeah, how, if there's not supposed to be any live rounds on set,
Then it comes down to
and who?
possible manufacturer defect.
Or them.
that a cosmetic round shot this projectile through them? Is that possible? Did you find that? I don't know.
It's possible.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it
they
is.
told you that mechanically, if that's possible.
Yes. So sometimes there is a charge in the end of not intentionally, but
a mistake. Today I sit here, and whether it was a misfiring theatrical round or a live one, I shot this woman with a gun today.
Case closed, Your Honor. The prosecution rests. Misfiring or theatrical round or a live round. I shot this woman with a gun today. I pointed a loaded weapon at a woman and I pulled the trigger. Thank you very, very much, Alec Baldwin. You've shown sufficient disregard for human life and admitted to it.
I can imagine that would not feel good.
I feel really bad. It's like everything was going great. The only problem we had was when these 6 guys wanted to quit. And I don't know the jargon, but their, union rep or whatever in the New Mexico contract, different contracts in different states, the person that was in charge of these people and a kind of a pipeline, a lot of shooting going on, a lot of movie TV work in Albuquerque, Santa Fe. Their head person was told them, don't strike. It's not, again, we don't want to cripple the indie business and put all of our employees out of work. Our indie contract is set for now. You have a contract you're under. Now we can renegotiate that contract, which no doubt they will. But in the meantime, you have a contract that you agreed to. And those men came, I'm not criticizing them, they came under a contract which they knew what it was.
We don't care why the catering.
And then halfway through the shooting, they left. They walked off.
We don't care why the camera crew
and I don't
quit.
When he said to me, well, my guys are sleeping in my car, the ADs and the producers said to me, well, they're all of a sudden complaining about a contract they've been working on it for quite a while.
Yeah, well, they were complaining about the catering services, the accommodation, but also it's been said by other witnesses and other trials that they were complaining about safety on the set.
And
It
some
was a
days we
shit
wrap,
show, basically. So
and
they
have
walked.
day shift nights. Those are tough. The men, the women, they have to go back to their homes, and they'd be Albuquerque and drive an hour. It's 3:00 in the morning, you know.
Mhm.
And we try to put the night shooting on the weekend, so when you wake up the following day, you're off. And then and then some days we wrap very. The day before they walked up the job, we wrapped at 5:45 in the afternoon. We had a very reasonable day, a very easy day. It was 6 o'clock. Because I'm driving away with them, and I waved to that guy. The guy said, "I want to talk to you," the heavyset guy.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving. I said, "I'll see you tomorrow," and I left because I want to get home.
Right.
I want to go call my kids before they go to bed in New York. And yesterday when I was driving, when I saw him, the sun was still out. We didn't shoot a day like usually we shoot till we lose the light.
Mhm.
That's why we're here to shoot New Mexico.
Yeah.
New Mexico is the star of the movie.
scenery.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you, in your opinion, feel that this could have been an accident? Or do you?
I want to believe that. Let me ask you this, because I don't know anything about this, because it was such mayhem when this happened.
Mhm.
Everybody was sick that this happened because we didn't know. No one imagined. Everyone thought she was hit by wadding or something, got burned. No one presumed she was shot with a bullet. Any projectile went through her body. No one even considered that wasn't possible. So the question is, the cartridge that came out. The cartridge is when they got the thing. Have you got that?
So we have to send that. We don't analyze that stuff. We collect it, but then we send it to lab.
It was collected. You have
It will be.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is that to me, I'm wondering, what was that? What was in that?
Dude, let the cops do their job. They're doing a very, very good job so far. Don't let them stop.
They're measuring. I don't know anything about that. What are they? What ballistics? How can they measure what was in that?
Mhm.
How much of it?
And that'll all be done at the lab.
Yeah, I don't know. All I knew is the gun went off. She hit the floor. He hit the floor. He started screaming. He's in a lot of pain. She went into shock. She didn't talk.
Right.
Her eyes are rolling back in her head, and blah blah blah, and bad. And everybody starts getting really, and then they start doing CPR, and everybody gets really panicky.
Guys, I'm beyond. I'm beyond it. Look at this. Look at this shit. She went into shock. Her eyes are rolling back in her head and blah, blah, blah. Right, Aaron. We're on the same page here. Exactly, JC. Exactly. Yeah, you all got it there too. Uh-huh. Her eyes are rolling back in her head and blah, blah, blah. So Alec was a producer, i.e. and wait, how do we get all the what? We already read this one. How did that get back there? Oh, that's the start one. Okay, never mind. I thought that came up in live chat suddenly. If I were his attorney, says Duncan Idaho, the $5, I would not be able to emphasize strongly enough that answering Morrissey's questions is the last thing ever that Alec wants to do. Yeah, she's going to kind of tear him apart if he takes the stand. But he has to take the stand. He's put himself into a position with his big, stupid mouth that he's got to take the stand. He just has to. And it's going to be brutal if he does. X-Comer Triple Z with the Nokia $50. Oh, Jeff. Jeff are going to watch the Baldwin's next year reality TV show with Baldwin's all day long. Oh, that sounds terrible. I would rather put a bullet in my own head. And Mary Jane says, Alan Walsh, Jeff's not doing it live. I'm streaming the trial semi-live. We'll do mornings live and afternoons. We'll show the afternoons before and during the morning live session, and then we'll do the morning session semi-live. So yes, I am doing it just kind of about a half a day behind, but it will still be going at the same time court is going. Right.
Bad. Everybody's just getting really, and then they start doing CPR.
Oh my God, I can't with this guy.
He hit the floor. He started screaming. He's in a lot of pain. She went into shock. She didn't talk.
Right.
Her eyes are rolling back in her head. And blah, blah, blah. And bad.
Blah, blah, blah.
Everybody starts getting really, and then they start doing CPR, and everybody gets really panicky. And then people start.
Been there, done that. Been there, done this. Says we achieved Jeff Cam today. Can we make it to Doggo Cam? Well, that I'm in the process of doing that for the remaining few minutes because the last super chat that came in set us over the edge, and we've unlocked achievement number 1. So yes, that was actually what I was in the process of setting up. It is that time again, ladies and germs, because of all of your generosity and your support for the show, we have reached the part of the show that we call
Release the hose.
My buddy Yoda will continue to watch the rest of this with me here for the next few minutes.
Wondering, what did something, we assumed because the wadding can burn you, there's material that can come out under that very rarely that could burn you. But remember, that often doesn't happen because there's always a cold gun on the rehearsal. By the time you leave, if the wadding comes out and it hits somebody, they're 20 feet away from you in a gunfight, the crew is away. You're not shooting anybody, they're the crew. And my point is that when she went down, I thought, what was stuck? We all said the same thing. What was stuck in the barrel? Was something left. They didn't clean the barrel, which they always do. Always.
Now it was just a live round. Now he's about, in the next few minutes, he's going to find out that she's dead. Right up to this point, all the stuff he's saying, he thinks she is still alive. And he's just about to find out that she's not alive.
And was there a rock or something that went through her body? I didn't know about the passing through her body. I know she was hit. I didn't know where, and I don't know to what extent. But we all presumed as we're sitting outside bullshitting for the last 2 hours while this went on, the aftermath, we assumed something was lodged in the barrel, was a projectile that went into her body. Now, when you tell me that's what came out of Joel's shoulder, that's a faulty round, which I've never heard of that before.
Okay.
Never. I've never heard of a theatrical flash round that was loaded into a gun that had a projectile that misfired, and that projectile came out that was a lethal round. Normally, if you're going to have a round that has this on it, it's the material that disintegrates when you fire the gun. Because if you take a flash round with gunpowder in it, whether it's a quarter, half, or full load, and you put a real bullet on, that's called a bullet. That's not a movie bullet. That's a bullet.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I mean, I'm the person that fired the gun. I'm dying to find out how that happened. How did that bullet that caused it end up in her kit?
And again, we're not going to know if it was manufacturer issues or someone did bring a live round until it's been tested and we look at the whole casing and projectile of it. So is there anybody on set that you would think want to cause a disturbance in the filming or have any issues with anybody on set, minus what happened if you don't think...
No, in the movie business, there are always some whiny people.
Okay.
But not so much so that they want to shoot somebody.
So nothing...
I've never heard of anything like this in my lifetime, ever. I've made 75 movies.
So in the past couple of weeks that you've been on set, there's nobody really...
There's no one I would imagine would be capable of doing something like this.
Nothing that out of the ordinary.
But again, I think it's a critical point to me, which is, if this is a flash round, if there's a flash round, and you have a piece here, this piece has to be a certain type, which if you want, as I've told you before, if you want the shot to go off and see that the cylinder cosmetically has a round in there, this is not the thing that was in Joel's shoulder.
But and then I want to come back to this. You said that when the gun went off, you experienced no kick.
Yeah, there was no recoil. There was no recoil. But that I remember. I mean, literally, I'm holding the gun, and let me slowly pull, turn, cock, bang. And as soon as I cock it, bang! And I jump. I mean, you obviously, that's the last thing you think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has been done. Every breath we take is to obviate that possibility. And the gun went off, and all I can think of, as I keep saying, is that I've never heard of a flash round that had a bullet on top. that had a projectile similar to what came out of Joel's shoulder. I've never heard of that in my life, ever. Never. Flash rounds normally have the crimping. If there's a head on there, it's made of a special material. And in this scene, you were to look down the barrel of the gun and shoot. You have to ask them that, by the way. You have to ask.
No, Annabelle.
Both of them are in the hospital now.
Annabelle.
It wasn't their intention because when I was given the gun, I'm assuming it's a cold gun with nothing in it. When it goes to time to shoot, are they going to see in the barrel that there's a gun there? Very often what they'll do is they'll have you put the cosmetic round and I'll draw the gun up, I'll aim it, they cut. And cinematically they'll cut to the other guy going like this. Then they'll cut back to me with the flash round with no projectile. But what I'm saying to you is a theatrical round, a flash round with a bullet head. I've never heard of that in my life ever. Never. Because that's a bullet. Less of a charge, but that's a bullet. I don't know what to say. I've never heard of this in my life.
What's your date of birth, Alex?
April 3rd, 1958.
Do we have, there's someone that we can contact if we have other questions for you?
My assistant's name is Jonah.
Jonah, J.
J-O-N-A-H. His last name is Foxman. They told me that you wanted this correct. J-O-N-A-H. Foxman.
If it ever happened.
F-O-X-M-A-N.
We have one more here.
What are you going to do?
You can go wherever.
Well, let me ask you this. Originally, this is a very complicated, I mean, modest compared to what happened to them, but my wife and my whole family was scared. And on Saturday, my daughter was going to be.
Now she's going out apparently and getting the news that Halyna is no longer amongst the living. And when she returns.
In the movie. And a little part for my daughter. The 8-year-old.
Oh,
she was so excited to come. And now the question is, Joel's not going to go back to work for a while.
Right.
I doubt he'll be back to work in a week or two at that. Who knows what they're going to do? They're going to get the shit suit out of them.
I think his was the shoulder. He might, I don't know. It's up to him how he feels and stuff on.
But I'm sure that there are so many insurance issues for them.
There's going to probably be a halt.
They're in a lot of trouble. Insurance-wise and civil action-wise. What I'm saying is I told them I would stay here tomorrow. My family's not going to come now.
Okay.
I begged them to come in. My wife wants to cancel the trip. She thinks it's just a weird energy. I told the producers that I would stay tomorrow in case anybody else, their insurance investigators, anybody, their lawyers wanted to talk to me. I'll make mistakes. And then Saturday, I was going to fly home to New York and just wait for them to tell me what to do. Did you need me to stay here beyond Saturday? I will do whatever you tell me to do.
Okay, so I think what we need to do, we're going to go and process the scene. If there's anything else that comes up, and that we need to contact you, you said you'll be here till Saturday? Or you want to fly?
Oh, no, as of now, I'm going to stay tomorrow to make myself available to the insurance investigators and their attorney, the production's attorneys. To make myself available, they've told me they're not sure they need to talk to me. I'm going to stay tomorrow and get on a plane Saturday to go home. And God knows when I'm going to come back. It might be months.
Okay. So we can contact you.
Yeah, as long as we have this number, he's not going to change it.
What I'm trying to say is that I'm going to leave on Saturday unless you tell me not to.
You're okay.
If you tell me to come back in, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do. But my wife wanted me to come home.
Yeah, so as long as we have a way of contacting you is what we need to do to get a hold of you, okay? But I think you are going, unless tomorrow you hear something different from us, because right now we're going to go, we'll interview a couple more
tomorrow, I'll come here right away.
Okay, yes.
Tell me what you want.
What's your work phone?
490.
Or your office, sorry.
That one I don't know. I don't use it.
Okay, well,
So 2850, 490, 2850 works out. I'll just put.
So the two of you are not best friends and you go bowling together and go to movies together now?
What?
Yeah.
I'm a funny fucker, and oh, by the way, yeah, somebody's dead, you dickhead.
So this is my card. I put her.
He gives zero shits that that he shot a woman and another dude just a couple of hours before this. Like the same afternoon as the shooting. And he's doing that shit.
Name on the back of that one, but my office is
How do you
that
prefer to be
first one.
contacted? Office?
Oh, let me put because mine's a different.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't. My desk phone has issues, so I use my work cell phone all the time, and that's usually the best way to get a settlement true. And then if I'm not at my desk either.
Yeah,
If I don't hear from you otherwise, I mean, I'll come in.
I don't really hate this guy. Per se, the individual. I just hate anyone who would act even remotely like him. Ugh. I mean, disrespectful, arrogant prick.
Tomorrow if you prefer, but if I don't hear from you otherwise, as of now, I intend to go home on Saturday.
So yeah, and that's fine because right now we still have other interviews to do. We got to go to the scene.
Nope.
The processing at the lab
Not
might
yet.
take
Coming up
longer,
in just a
so
minute.
you might even not hear from if
There's
you
2
do.
years backlog right now.
So our investigation.
Remotely.
If it comes to it,
Just tell me
we
what
will
to do.
figure it out at that point. But right
As of now, my
now,
web one's going to come up.
as of right now, you better listen to your wife and go home.
Okay, are we ready for? I do have some very unfortunate news to tell.
Yeah, now here's like, are you done going? Are you done telling jokes? Because we got something to tell you, Mr. Baldwin.
I do have some very unfortunate news to tell you.
What?
She didn't make it. Yeah.
Yeah, you killed her, dude.
So Joel's still at the hospital, but the
You
other
killed a woman.
person involved didn't make it.
You and your fucking arrogance killed a woman.
Sorry. I just didn't want you to hear it outside of here.
Is there something we could do for you? What? Jonah, the one back there?
Oh, so I believe that's a very real action. I believe that's a very real reaction. The question is this reaction, oh my God, she's dead, or oh my God, I'm in a world of shit because I killed her? Which is it? Got my theories as to which one it is.
Okay. Do you want Jonah in here with you?
That's what I'm thinking.
You wanna? What do you want to do?
both.
Do you want to make a call? You can sit.
You should go.
Are you guys needing a ride? Or are you comfortable? I think are you comfortable driving though?
I want to go call my wife.
Of course, we could even give you privacy.
No, we're going to go.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
Can I get you more water or anything? So, give you guys a few minutes in here?
I want to go call my wife.
There you have it, folks. The first Alec Baldwin interrogation video brought to us by Drip Drop, good friend, good guy over at Crime Circus. Make sure you give Crime Circus a good look. If you like police interrogation videos, they've got them all. Check them out. Give them a subscribe. Give them some likes. If you happen to find yourself over there, just remember to tell them that you're from Legal Vices channel. Just tell them hi. That's it. Jury selection's underway as we speak. Opening statements, are scheduled to start tomorrow at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, which will be 10, 11 a.m. I believe it's 9 a.m. I believe it's 9 a.m. So, which would be 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, midnight my time. So that would make it 4 p.m. UK and 1 a.m. Australian Central Time. Yeah, so there we go. And I will be covering this live, the opening statements live. As I said, there's a bajillion places you can watch this trial, but you 869 that are here watching this right now with me, this is my personal invite to you to come here and participate in the chat of what is only able to be described as the greatest trial watch channel on YouTube. Right here, me, Legal Vices. There's going to be other people doing other things. I hope you'll be here with me. We have a good time over here, and I'm happy to have you here. Happy to interact with you. So join me tomorrow at that time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain, for the opening statements in the Alec Baldwin trial. I'm looking to see where we can send you all now. If there's some particular place you want to go, let's see where I can send you off to. By the way, we've got 77,590 subscribers. We need 10 more subscribers to get to 77,600. There's got to be 10 of you. There's got to be at least 10 of you here in chat that haven't subscribed. Do me a favor. Give me that warm, fuzzy feeling of people subscribing, and you can have that little warm, fuzzy feeling of giving someone else a warm, fuzzy feeling. Hit that subscribe button. And if you have already subscribed, just do me a favor and double check to make sure you're still subscribed. That would be awesome. Yeah, thanks. All right, I'm setting us up to redirect to... Yes, we're not done yet. We have the chats to get through. We have a few things to talk about. I'm just setting up the direct now before I forget about it. Brian Steele, the supplement of the Young Thug Cave is on Cat Not Williams. Recovery Addict, the Young Jerks. Let's go over and say hi to Cat Not Williams. She's reading the Brian Steele supplement to the motion to recuse Judge Glanville in the Young Thug trial. So when we get over there. So, all right, people, let's see what we've got starred over here. Duncan, Idaho, he might not take the stand, weighing the reputational damage of a Morrissey cross where he's totally deconstructed versus just a guilty verdict, right? Yeah, I mean, his hubris, his mouth has written some checks that he needs to cash on the stand. It's gonna be brutal if he's on the stand, but I think he's painted himself into a corner where he's got to get on the stand and give an explanation that nobody's going to believe. Stingy member for 20 months. Peeking in, saying hi. Thanks for all you do, sir, chat. And holy crap, 20 months. It has been 20 months. Thank you so much, Stingy. That's really damn awesome of you, and I appreciate it. And with that, we're here for the end. This is it. Let's go on over and say howdy to Cat Not Williams, and we'll see you here tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. UK. 4 p.m. UK time for the opening statements in this trial. Until then, hey everybody, peace out. Law Rack saying we will catch you tomorrow. Bye now. All right, thanks, mods. Mods, I forgot to thank my super mods for being super moddy. How could I forget my mods? The mods are the best. I couldn't do this without my mods, and I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for the monthly memberships, for the monthly membership chats, and thank you, chat, for being the best chat on YouTube. I do not take you for granted. See, I even stopped my outro so I could come back and say thank you. So again, thank you very much. I apologize for that. Everybody, now I love you all. Let's go on over to Cat Not Williams. Bye now.